Hello everyone, this is Stephanie. Welcome to another video. So today we're going to work on this pretty little bracelet, and it is inspired by the Moonbeams earrings that I made a while back. So we use that bezel. This is what the back looks like. I think it's really pretty. I mean, you could wear it on the back as well, probably reverse it. We're going to make this today, and if you see this one here, I made the same bracelet in all these different colors. So I just went through all my Rivolis and my 2x3mm Rondelles, and I just picked out a bunch of, that I had in my stash, and I was inspired by these flowers that my husband brought me for our anniversary. So we've been married forever, and we had our anniversary on February 24th, and he brought me Gerber daisies. I love, 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 love Gerber daisies, so I thought, let's make a bracelet, with all those colors in it. So we have that one as well. So you can make sort of this one, which is just very elegant, or you can go fun and make this guy. All right, so I'm going to clear everything off. We'll get a materials list going and we'll get started. So just a reminder, on Thursday, March 2nd, I will be unboxing my new collaboration with Eureka Crystal Beads. So it'll be a new collection, and it's a really pretty little collection. I think you're going to love it. And I have some pieces that I've already made, samples of things that you can make with the collection. So don't forget to come. I think it's at noon on March 2nd. All right, so let's clear this off and get started. Okay, let's get a materials list going. So you'll need a bunch of Rivolis, and they're 12mm Rivolis. You'll need some 3mm Bicones, 11/0 seed beads, 15/0 seed beads. You need a 5mm round bead. The 6 is slightly large. You can try it if you like, but I think a 5 is perfect here. So if you have a pearl, a gemstone, a Druk bead, anything round. I have a stop bead, 8-pound Fireline black satin. I've got a size 11 beading needle in this needle case. You'll need some jump rings and a clasp. I forgot to put them out, so here I'm going to put this out. So here you'll need, 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, whatever, jump rings and a toggle clasp I'm working with here. So don't forget to check the description box below the video for all sizes, shapes, amounts, colors, everything you need, places to purchase beads if you need it. So click the down arrow, the show more, the 3 dots and more, the more and 3 dots, the, whatever it says down there to get that description box to open, you'll see it. So I'm going to clear this off and we'll get started. Okay, let's get started. So thread your needle with about 2 feet of thread, maybe a teeny bit more. Put on a stop bead and leave about an 8-inch tail, so I use that tail. I'm going to pick up and drop down to my stop bead 3 11/0 seed beads. Let me pull in for this. 3 11/0 seed beads and 1 15/0 seed bead. Make sure we're clearing up here. I drop those down to my stop bead. There we go. I'm going to sew them into a circle. And just sewing up through the first bead after the stop bead, and then continuing on through all the beads. Like that. And then you want to go one more. Then one more. So you've just made it into a circle, and I've situated the beads to where you have a 15/0 at the top, 11/0 on the side, 11/0 on the bottom, and 11/0 on the side, and you'll be exiting this 11/0. So if you're not exiting that 11/0, you're just going to move around until you get to that 11/0 right here on the bottom. Okay, next up we're going to pick up either your 2x3mm rondelle or bicone, 2 11/0s, and a 15/0. Just like that. Exiting here, I'm going to sew through this one. See the direction I'm going down like that. It's a little modified right angle weave, and that little 15/0 is going to sit at the top. So here, when I put that on, I'm exiting that 11/0 right here. I'm just going to skip the bicone, just pull the thread in front of it, and sew up through the 11/0 after that bicone. And when I pull, see, it's going to pop that bicone into place right there. So see how I have 2 15/0s here? You want 15/0s on the inside all the time. All right, shall we do another one? So I've picked up a bicone, 2 11/0s, and a 15/0. Exiting here, I'm going to sew through this one like that. Just make sure, pop it over, give it a pull. Make sure that thread is passing the bicones on the front. See that? And I'm going to sew up through the 11/0 after the bicone. And then pull that right into place. One more time. A bicone or your rondelle, 2 11/0s and a 15/0. Exiting here, just going to sew down through this guy. Pulling across and up through. This one, I hold it with my thumb and I give it a little pull so it sits nicely. And see, now we're working around, and we're going to be working around in a circle to where you can have all your 15/0s on the inside and all the 11/0s and the bicones on the outside. So you're going to just continue doing that until you have 10 of your bicones on. So just keep, keep doing it, keep going on and on and on. And then when you have 10 of your bicones on, come back and we'll continue. Okay, we're back and I have on my 10 bicones. Here's my working thread. So now I'm just going to go to my tail thread, take off the stop bead and thread a needle. And if you notice, I'm exiting here. So here's a unit, right? So the 3 11/0s and the 15/0. Here's another unit on this side. 3 11/0s and the 15/0. So I want to connect these units. So I'm exiting out of the bottom of this 11/0. I'm going to pick up a 15/0. And I'm going to sew through that very end bead of that unit on the other side, so the one sticking out there. Put that 15/0 on, and then I'm going to pick up an 11/0 and go right back through the bead I started from, like that. And I'll move my finger in a second. So do you see how that gives me my last unit? And of course we'll add the bicones in a minute, so I'm giving it a little pull. Now I have it connected, and I just want you're exiting here. I just want you to make a turn and just go right through this 15/0 right here. Pick up a 15/0, pop through the next 15/0. So we're going to do this all the way around, but I just wanted to get it secured a little bit before we continue that. So just 15/0s are going to go in between each 15/0 like that. So before I continue, I'm just going to give this a little pull. I'm exiting this 11/0 here. I'm on the outside with my working thread now. I'm going to pick up a bicone and sew through this, the next 11/0. And it might pull apart a little bit, but we'll get it all together. Then I'm going to pick up another bicone. I'm going to sew through this 11/0, the bicone, the next bicone, the next 11/0, and the next bicone if you can get it all at once, just to kind of move this thread away from the connection point. So this is what it looks like. And all you're going to do at this point is just grab your 15/0s using your tail thread again, and you're just going to place a 15/0 in between each of these 15/0s on the back. That's just going to tighten it up on the back. So I'll just let you do that all the way around and then come back and we'll continue. Okay, we're back. So I have finished with my interior thread. So I put a 15/0 in between each of the 15/0s I put on the back, and then I reinforced because it makes it nice and snug, and then just tie that thread in. And you can just tie a thread in, your thread in anywhere along here. You can tie it around here, wherever it works, but you want that nice and snug, so that looks pretty good. Move on. So now we have our working thread. I'm going to pick up 5 of my 15/0s, like that. I'm exiting this bicone. I'm going to skip this one and sew through the next one. So we're just working with the bicones here. Pop that on, like that. Do that again. 5 15/0s, exiting here, skip this one, sew through the next one. Such an easy bezel and fun. 5 15/0s, like not stressful. Exiting here, skip this one, sew through the next one, and so on. So you're just going to do that all the way around and meet me at the end. Down to my last group of 5 15/0s, exiting here, skipping this one, sewing through this one, and then I'm going to sew right up to the first 3 of the 15/0s I originally put on. So that first group of 15/0s. That's going to just set me up to put some more beads on. So this is what it looks like. All right, so I am exiting this number 3 bead of that first group of 5. So remember, we put this on, the 5 on, went through the bicone, and then we sewed right up through the first 3 of that next group of 5. Going to pick up a 15-0, a bicone, and a 15-0. And we're just going to skip over to the next group of 5 and just sew through bead number 3 of that group of 5. Like that. Pick up a 15-0, a bicone, and a 15-0. Going to do that again. We are going to skip right over to that next group of 5 and going to sew through bead 3. Like that. 15-0, bicone, 15-0. Going to do this all the way around. Skip over to that next group of 5. Sew through bead number 3 and see how it's pulling in a bit. So just keep going until you get all the way around, and at any point you can put your stone in, or you can wait till the very end to put your stone in, but I'll wait a little bit, and then when we come back I'll put the stone in. Okay, so I'm coming down to the end. I have maybe one more bicone to put on. I'm just going to pop my stone in, so I moved it out open a little bit, and then just pull like that, and then you can add the remainder of your bicones, how many you have to do at this point. So 15-0 bicone, 15-0, just have one. So I just want to make sure you get this in the right place. You're coming back to the original group of 5 there, so you want to make sure that you are sewing through bead number 3 like that, so that it sits just like that. And we're going to just keep going around, so sewing through the 15-0, get my needle in there, bicone, 15-0. So you just want to sew around all the beads you just put on, and you can sew through that middle bead there too if you like. If you find that your bezel it's a little loose around the front, you can always just sew through all of these beads and not sew through that little center one there. But so far I've been going through it and adding that, sewing through that one as well, and it's been fine, but you never know, so you can do either way. So do that and reinforce this all the way around, and then come back and we'll continue. Okay, we're back. So I've sewn around the front of my unit, and I'm exiting this bead right here. So I went around, I went through the 15-0 bicone, 15-0, and then I'm going to sew through this middle one right here, because I just want to get to the outside. So this is where I'll be exiting, right here. I'm just going to do a little turn, go down these 2 like that, and then I'm just going to make another turn and go through the bicone, 11-0 bicone, just like that. And now I'm ready to attach some units. Okay, so of course before we attach all units, you're going to make all your units, and I'm just going to give you a little measurement. So you're just going to keep making units until it's, big enough for your wrist. So if I sort of put these out, the number of units to get me to almost 6 inches, I say about 5 3/4 inches, is going to be 7. So you're going to just make as many as you need to fit around your wrist. And and I'm going to show you the connection next. And what's kind of a good idea is maybe connect them 2 at a time so you can hold it around your wrist, and then you'll be able to see as you go along what you're going to need. So we're going to add a little something here in the clasp, which will make mine about a 7-inch bracelet. All right, so make all your units, and then come back and we'll connect a couple of them. Let's connect. So I'm exiting one of these bicones right here. So we're going to connect 2 to 2. So we're going to, this bicone and this bicone is going to connect to this bicone and this bicone on the other unit. They're always going to match. So when you get these 2 connected, there'll be 2 here you can connect. So you shouldn't have any problem connecting. So I'm exiting the bicone, the top of the bicone. Doesn't matter if you're holding it up here or down here, as long as you're exiting out of the top of a bicone. I'm going to pick up an 11-0 bicone, 11-0, and I'm going to sew through those 2 beads on the other unit. So 3 actually, the 3mm bicone, the 11-0, and the bicone. Like so. And then I'm going to pick up an 11-0 bicone and an 11-0. I'm going to sew through the bicone back on this unit. I'm just going to turn it so I can get to it. The 11-0 and the bicone again on this side. And I'll hold it open so you can see the thread path. So see the thread path, just like that. And when I pull, this is what it looks like. So I'm exiting the bottom of this bicone. I'm just going to sew through the bicone, the 11-0 bicone, 11-0. I'm going to go back up these three, the bicone, 11-0 bicone, and I'm going to go across through this 11-0 and bicone. I'm going to exit the bicone. Now I'm going to pick up my larger bead. So this is my 5mm pearl. I'm exiting here. I'm just going to pop through this one on the opposite side in the opposite direction. So my thread's exiting here. I'm going to enter here. That's just going to hold it on. See? Like that. And then all you're going to do is reinforce at this point. So go around this one, go through your beads again, tie a couple of half-hitch knots, and then you will be connected. So you're going to do that with all your units. So get all of those done and then come back and we'll put the clasp on. Okay, let's add on one end of the clasp. So I'm using a toggle clasp, and what I've done here is here's the way my ring is situated. So this ring here is facing, the opening is facing up. I put 2 jump rings on. They're either 6 or 8. I'm going to say they're 6mm jump rings. I'll put it in the description box. Put 2 on so that it's facing in this direction. So just like that. Okay. And then I'm exiting where I would be exiting if I was adding another unit on. So here's my unit. Here are the 2 beads on the opposite side, or the bicone, 11-0 bicone. I'm going to pick up an 11-0, a bicone, 11-0 bicone, 11-0 bicone, 11-0 bicone, 11-0. So I have 4 bicones on and 5 11-0s. Now I'm going to pick up the clasp. So I'm going to go through those 2 loops on the clasp, and I'm going to just have it kind of just go in there a bit. Just pull it through. You can always do this after, but by putting them on separately, but I think this is fine. So I'm just going to make sure that the bicones go through like that. And then I'm just going to sew up through the bicone, 11-0 bicone on the other side. Like that. So a little note here. You can, if you need length, you can add another one of these units on by putting on these all these bicones in the sequence I just put it on, and put your pearl in, and then you can add your clasp on after that. We might even be able to add the pearl as we're going. Should we try that? So these 2 guys are going to sort of sit right there. These 2 rings are going to sit around here. We're just going to sew around. Like so. I'm just reinforcing. So going through all the beads, and then through this one. Let's see, can we get a pearl in there? I don't know if it will bump into. We're having a designing moment. So here, exiting here, actually go this way. Let's see. Like that. All right, perfect. Here we go. So this is probably the best way to do it. And then just come down your beads again. Just make sure I'm staying in frame. You just kind of maneuver your needle a little bit. It's just that the bicones, they're sort of slightly different levels, so you might have a little bit of an issue getting through, but just give it a little wiggle. When that guy isn't going through. Let me see if I can get it this way. There, it should go through. There. Oh, there we go. Okay, you just have to sort of get on an angle, maybe use a smaller needle, because there's really not a lot of thread in there. But look at that, that came out perfect. All right, so we just did a little designing moment on the clasp to make it super easy to get this clasp in. All right, so I would just come around again, gee, I love it when things work out like that. And, you know, go around. If you can't get down here again, I think you can just make a turn. But, oh, that came out great. So I love that. That makes a really pretty end because I like the pearl at the end. All right, so get that done and come back and we'll do the other side. I'm going to do the exact same thing on the toggle bar side. However, sometimes when you're doing it to the bar, in order to get it through the ring, you'll need a little length here. So I'm just going to try it this way and see if it works. If not, you add your 2 loops, add 2 more, and then 2 more again, so your loops are facing in this direction, and that will give you the length to get through the ring if you need it. But let's give it a go. So again, I'm exiting the top of a bicone here. I'm going to work through these beads here, adding my 11-0 and bicone, and then alternating till I have 4 11-0s on and 4 bicones on and 5 11-0s. I'm going to go through the jump rings I put on, and then I'm going to go back up these guys like that. This is what I have. Then I'm going to do the same thing I did before. I'm going to reinforce by going through all the beads. And I'm getting through very easily on this side, so I think it was just that I was at a funny angle. Okay, I'm going to come through this guy. Then I'm going to find what I do with my pearls. Oh, here's my pearl. Exiting here. So on this one, I'm exiting there. I'm just going to go through this one and then I'll just go through this one first. And then I'm just going to sew through all the beads again. Like that. And then I have my, let me just get yeah, that looks pretty good. So now I have my ring, my bar on. Let me just see if it will close, if I can get it through the ring. Yes, no problem. Just straighten that out. There we go. So I get it through the ring very easily, just like that. All right, so finish that up and come back and we'll finish up the video. We're back and we're done. And I think it came out great. So just a couple things, because we did have that designing moment. And sometimes, you know, when you're designing something, you know, you might want to change it, or you might, you know, it's sort of a process. So it did work out very well putting this on. However, it could make it a little bit too long, and you might want to add, like I said here, where you have the 2 jump rings, you might want to add a couple more just to, you know, give it the length so it goes through the ring easy. Make sure that when you put these on, that your rings, the 2 jump rings, are in between the 2 bicones on the edge. So see that there's the little 11-0 in there, and so you want it there so that it closes nicely. So I'll show you how it closes this way, and it's not a problem closing it. It's just that it does go up a little bit, you see. So if you have more jump rings, it's going to lay a little flatter. So you might want to just you know, switch that a little bit, in which case you may have to put 1 less unit on. So that's all in the process of making length for your proper length for your bracelet. And, you know, it's difficult. You know, sometimes this was perfect for me. I might have wanted it, I don't know, actually I was going to say I might have wanted it slightly tighter, but I don't think so. It fit right around my wrist, sort of here. So here, actually, let me put it on, so that you can get a real idea of what it looks like. I'm always terrible with clasps, but I don't have a problem getting it through the loop. See, so that's not a problem. This is what it looks like. So it pops up a little bit, only because, just right there, you can barely even see it, only because I only put those 2 rings on. But I think it came out great, and it lays a little bit low on my wrist. Is how I like a bracelet. I don't like it like this bump here on my wrist always is in the way. So I like my bracelets hanging low like that. So actually it's pretty good. So up to you how you want to put that on, but a fun designing moment. Here's the one in process with all the flowers. I think this is so pretty. It's just fun. Just a real fun little piece here. So, all right, I want to thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you on the next video. And don't forget to stay tuned for Thursday for the debut of my latest collection. It's a fun little collection. I think you really enjoy it. All right, so take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.